Hey, Yuma Clinical Trials, how's it going? Thank you so much. We're here spotlighting and showcasing cool people from the community, cool companies from the community. We're with Casa Luna Credit with Jacqueline and Melissa. But before we get into the episode, I want to tell you guys about some of our studies. So we've got asthma, COPD, depression, cardiovascular disease, chronic kidney disease, weight loss. There's a lot more coming, so make sure you follow our Instagram and our YouTube. And if you're interested, just call or text. Grecia, who's our coordinator, has the number.
Phone number is 928-888-9678.
Thank you. All right, now we're here with Casa Luna Credit. We're here to talk about credit, why it's important, what you can do if it's not good. We're here with, like I said, Jacqueline and Melissa. I think people understand credit is important, but sometimes it's too late, or sometimes life happens. And I'm sure you guys deal with all those kind of situations. But when it goes down to where, like, what's considered bad? Like, let's just start with that. What's like the danger zone of credit? Like, what's the border where it's like, hey, you don't need Casa Luna yet, but if it gets to this level, you do. What number is that, do you think?
You want to answer that, Melissa?
No, go ahead. She deals more with the processing, so she goes in there and sees most of the negative. So
yeah, because we could start with that, because if somebody's watching, they're like, I got a 650.
Honestly, I don't think there's like a borderline that you're going to leave Casa Luna or you won't need us. I guess it comes to determine when we see your credit, because sometimes we're starting credit and people don't know how to start credit correctly. Sometimes we open a credit card and we get the credit card and we're like, hey, I have $500, so let's go. So here with Casa Luna, we teach them, how to start a healthy credit, and we teach them how to use that credit possibly. So we don't want them going to use a credit card, the 500 right away. What we recommend is just using the 30%. That's what keeps your credit going, along with a lot of mixture. So we conduct the credit. Melissa conducts, the audit. And then from there, we determine, like, okay, so what do you have? So if you have late payments, if you have collections, if you have charge-offs, you have bankruptcy, anything negative like that, then we could help. Late payments is one of the most common, because sometimes, life happens. It's like, oh, I forget, or I thought I had an automatic payment and I forget. And a lot of times it's like, yes, it's like one late payment, and we've been so good for like the last 5 years, but that late payment for 1 month could really hurt you more than having a collection. It deducts more points than actually having a collection there. So we could go in there also as well, help them with that late payment, because if they're trying to get like a good interest rate on a mortgage loan or a car loan, a lot of factors says that late payment could hurt you.
It'll be tough.
Yeah. Yes.
also when it has to do with late payments, but also like if you have a credit card that's all maxed out, that also doesn't help your credit whatsoever. Right. So we try to help provide good habits, and it just depends on the person. Every individual, you have different credit, I have different credit, but we try to change that with good habits.
And you said it like utilization 30%, you were saying?
Correct.
So you don't want to use, like, if you have that 500 limit, you want to use 150, no more than that.
Correct. Yes. So that could be still, giving positive points to your credit, but also when you apply for a bigger loan, or like a mortgage loan, a car loan, or a better credit card, it's not you're telling the bank that you are being responsible using. You're allowed to go ahead and put it to the 500, but then again, it's like when you run the credit again, somebody else runs the credit. It's like, oh, you know what? He has it to the limit. So
one of the hacks I learned, like, we'll try to give people free tips here, and then if they need your help, they'll contact you. And if you're watching on Instagram, we have their Instagram. We also have their phone number underneath the video. One of the things I learned was call my credit card. I have like 10 credit cards, and I've always had good credit, thankfully. But one of the things I learned, like a hack. So I learned this maybe 10 years ago, and every 5 years I do it. I contact every one of my credit card companies, and I tell them to increase my limit. And then I've monitored, like, the next 3 months, my credit shoots up. Yes. I didn't do anything different. I just asked for an extra limit. The worst they could say is no. But generally, if you don't ask too often, they will say yes.
Correct. Yes, and if you have like it's like a healthy relationship with that credit card, they don't. Sometimes they won't run your credit because they already have that trust with
Yeah.
you, saying, he's been responsible for like 5, 6, 7 years.
Yeah.
Go ahead and give him the limit increase.
Yeah, sometimes they'll still say no because
Yeah.
like if you're already at like a large number and you're not using any of it, they're
Correct.
like, he's
Yes. So you have to have a mixture. See, you have to have a
Yeah.
mixture. You have to have a good relationship, and then you have to be using it because
Yeah.
they're going to be asking. It's like, why do you want a higher credit limit, but you're not even using the credit card,
Yeah.
right? So you have to. It's like, a good relationship. It's like both.
So
Both
what
of you guys
about
have to
that?
work.
Like, because I have like 10 cards, and I only really heavily use 3, maybe 4 if you count Costco.
Mm-hmm.
Should I be alternating? Should I be like using them all and like alternating it? 1 month use this, the next month use that.
Since you already have that mix of the credit cards, then I mean, yes and no. Because at the end of the day, it's like, how much can you afford if you're using those credit cards? How much can you afford, to pay towards the next month? Because also
Yeah.
that depends a lot. Like, let's say you go up to the limit and then next month you just give the minimum payment. So your credit points could come down.
And it
No. Let's say I pay it off every month, but like this month I've used all Amex. Okay, I paid it off. Next month I'm not gonna use Amex. I'm gonna use my Discover. Pay it all off.
As
Yeah.
long as you're being responsible,
Yeah.
and you're mixing it, it's good that you're
Okay.
having the mixture in there because
Yeah.
also the credit consists of of having multiple credit lines in your credit
Yeah.
and that you're using them, but then again, pay them and use them
So
responsibly.
I gotta use my other cards then. All right.
And it depends on the interest too, because
Correct.
that has a lot to do with this. Sometimes you give the minimum payment, but the minimum
they're all
payment.
like super high. They're crazy. Even
Yeah.
for good credit, like bad credit, I can't imagine. But like even the good credit, the rates are insane right now in 2024.
Yeah.
Having bad credit is expensive. When you
Yikes.
opened a credit card or you get a car loan or it's really a mortgage loan. I mean, the loan officers that we work for, they tell us when they send us a client over, hey, I want them at this because I want them
So
to
you
get
get a lot
good,
of referrals from
Yes,
realtors.
we do.
Yes.
And they're like, I want them at this specific number because I want them to get a good interest rate. So we work with that and we work with the customer. We make them a plan. We do the audit. We make them a plan, present it to the customer, and then present them, of course, with the pricing.
Right.
So
Yeah.
Collections, charge-offs, late payments, medical bills, inquiries, bankruptcies, evictions, child supports, repossessions, judgment. Wow. Any questions?
So let's get down to what made you guys want to do credit repair and go into that kind of business.
That's a good question.
you know what? When I started 7 years ago, my husband and I were looking to buy a home. And we were younger. And when we were younger, you don't think about your credit. You're like, I'm going to need it. What am I going to need it for? Like, I have time, right? So it's like, you don't care. So we were those people. So when we got into looking for a home, they were on our credit and say, you know what? You need to work on your credit. So we did. So they recommended us to a company out somewhere in California, which everything was through the phone. We didn't know who the person that, was working. So it started like that. We started with a credit repair company. I didn't really like it because I didn't see who was working on my credit. They did help, but it was just, I wasn't really getting a quick response from them when I had a question or anything like that. So it started like that. So I was like, you know what? And we paid a lot of money to get our credit fixed. So after that, we got our home, and like 5 years ago that we got our brand new home. It was a brand new build, and super thankful because they did help us, but it took a while. So after that, I started just getting into that. I started monitoring our credit. Then after that, we're like, we want to get new cars. Okay, so we need to do this so we don't have to pay big interest. So that's where I started. I started reading into it, started getting into it, started understanding what the credit report meant. Okay. And from there, this opportunity jumped up just actually going to be a year with her in June that she hired me. So from there, I've been growing and growing, and right now I'm the processor. So I understand it way more. And yes, and it's something that I really, really like and enjoy because we help a lot of customers out. And clients like us that we didn't know. And we're like, no, we could do this and we could do this for you. So that's how my journey started with the credit repair.
And yourself?
Mine, I think it started like since high school. Like
Okay.
when I got my first credit card in high school. So it was like I have to be responsible and I have to make sure that I'm monitoring it and everything. So I think the interest sparked from there, like making sure that I'm being responsible, and it just led to now where I want to buy a house and all these things, like, and I got a car loan like 3 years ago that was pretty high, so it just made me want to learn a little bit more, and like I said, it sparked the interest in high school, but I would say that you learn as you go, and with this I've learned so much. And like she said, we help a lot of people that are in like a hole, you know what I mean? Like where you dig yourself in a hole and you just don't know how to get out. And that's how I was. So when I met them, it was just like, man, like I've learned so much, and it's never too late. I think it's never too late when it comes to credit. If you have a goal, we're here to help. Even with just watching this video, it might, be like, oh, I do need help with this. And it might just shed some hope. Shed some hope. Because there is hope, if you want that house, if you want that car, there's opportunities to get help, so.
Correct.
I've been in that hole, like, I've always had good credit, but when I was in the hole, like maybe 10 years ago, it dipped to like low 700s because I just had so much debt. I was doing different businesses, and I had to like put my own money into it, and then I used cards for my living expenses. But I respected those payments, like at least the minimum. I did balance transfer, like all that stuff I can do with the 0%, like for 7 months, whatever I can do to get out of that hole. But like when you're in that hole under all that pressure, it's devastating. Like I had a lot of anxiety, I had a lot of stress, but everything I think is temporary. Everything passes. And I told myself that too back then, like this too shall pass.
Yes.
It's like one of my favorite quotes. I might get if I get a tattoo, I'm getting that tattoo. This too shall pass. And I just kept telling myself that. And I'm telling you, when I paid off like all my debt, I think it was like 50 grand at one point, I felt like physically like a relief, like a weight off my shoulder.
Yeah.
And I said, I'm never getting that carried away again.
Yeah.
God willing. But there's hope for people out there. And I never used, I didn't even know there was such a thing as credit restoration.
Yeah.
Yes. I didn't know until when I got introduced to it about fixing our credit. But and some of our clients didn't even know, they're like, we even get the question, is this legal?
Yes.
Why do they think it's illegal? Like, what do you guys do
because
that?
they don't know. It's like, we don't know what we could do. Like we could fix our credit because we all have that, it's a Fair Credit Act. So we have, it's to question anything that's on our credit or anything like that. Some people don't know, and some people are like, you know what, no, it's just scamming us, and it's not going to work. So actually, like last month, I had a client, when he signed up, he asked me, he's like, so the cops are not going to show up at my house, right?
You have a client. I had friends and family tell me that.
Why were they scared though? Like, what were we having them do?
No, it's because they thought that, what we were doing was illegal. So he's like, are you sure? And I was like,
But what was it? Like what?
No, it's just he had some collections. He had some collections on there, and they were pretty on they were on the heavy side. So, and I told him, no, it's it's going to be a process, because it is a process as well. It's time, and it's a process. So I told him, you know what, everything's legal. What we're doing is legal, so you don't have to worry that the cops are going to show up at your house or the FBI or anybody. So like you could be, you're fine. So, but a lot of people, like I said, they don't know. They don't know we're here. They don't know
what
what
would
we
you
do.
like? Let's give someone a free tips. Like maybe they are in collections right now. Like what's like the first thing they should do?
If they're on collections, it's, what could we do?
Obviously call you, but like let's say
before that, it's we recommend, when we recommend it to our clients, like don't make any contact with the collection company, because if they hire us, then we start disputing and they start the investigation. Sometimes when they actually talk to the collections company, it's that they're admitting to the debt. And that's what we don't want, because it's a little bit harder for us to go ahead and dispute it for them. So what we tell them, it's if they know that they have collections, they have charge-offs, go ahead and give us a call. We could do the audit and then present them with the plan that we could do. But what we recommend, don't talk to the collection companies just yet. Sometimes there's a possibility that we could get a pay to delete a collection, which in a way it's good. We're not saying don't pay it off, but there's a pay to delete, which that means not just because you pay off a collection means that's going to come off your credit. So it's still going to stick on there for the next 7 years, and it will be there. So what we tell them is like, if they get an offer pay to delete, okay, then, send me the email, send me the letter that this is how much I'm offering to pay off the collection. And as soon as you guys clear the money that, it's clear from my account, you guys are going to go ahead and delete it.
But
and it's going to be removed.
Are those people easy to work with, the collections people? Or, I mean, you guys are pros, you do it, but...
We actually don't talk to them on the phone or anything. We send out letters. Because
that's
we want
right way to do
yes,
it.
We do
Certified
paper trail.
mail.
Yes. We send out our mail, and then when we send out our mail, they have 30 days to go ahead and respond to us.
Because, I already know some people watching, and feel free to chime in, but someone's watching and say, okay, well, I can just Google, how to, I don't need Casa Luna. I can just Google what I need to do. And there's probably good tips there. I mean, I learned how to increase my score, just Google. What do you guys say about that?
What do you think puts you guys out there? So instead of Googling, why should they contact you guys instead?
Because there's inaccuracies. There's sometimes on your credit report, there's things that are not yours. It can be inaccurate, right? That's not your debt, or that's not your collection. And we go into depth with that, And I honestly, I'm more like the face of the company, so I don't know exactly how it would be to go into that.
We start out, it's not easy. Yes, you could go into Google, because now we could find everything on Google. What can we find?
Almost
we could be a doctor in Google, But the thing is that sometimes the collection companies or the credit bureaus don't just go, oh, you send me a letter, okay, fine, I'll delete it, and that's it. No, they open an investigation. Sometimes the first round, we call them, there's 3 rounds. So the first round is just sending out the letter saying, hey, this is not mine, delete it, blah, blah, blah. So they have 30 days. They answer us within those 30 days and tells, you know what, it's verified. It is yours. So now from there, some people give up. It's like, no, well, I don't know what to do next. So you can't be sending in the same letter every time. So you have to get a little bit more aggressive every time. So the second round is, you know what, a little bit more aggressive, a little more aggressive, saying, hey, this is going on, blah, blah, blah. We explain everything. And from there, sometimes we get them within the second round of letters. They start deleting some sticks, some don't. So now from there, we have to be more aggressive with the third letter and say, hey, this is going on.
You guys, right?
Yes. This is going on. This is going on. And not even after the third round, they still don't give up, and they still, start saying, no, it's sticking. So okay, so no. So now we have to send another 4th letter. So this is why we say it's a process. It's not, to actually have bad credit, it happens in a quickness. To get a really bad credit. But to fix it is the time. It's the time, because it's not up to us.
What's realistic? Someone works with you, let's say they have 600, right? 550. Hey, I need to buy a house. Jacqueline, what am I going to do?
It actually depends on what's on the credit.
Okay.
Because let's say if you have a repossession. Repossessions and bankruptcies are a little bit more on the heavy side to go ahead and remove.
Bankruptcy's tough, yeah.
Yeah. To go ahead and remove is not just going to go, hey, okay, we'll delete it, whatever. It's bankruptcy. Whatever. No, it's a little bit more on the heavy side to go ahead and delete it. So about that time, our range here with the program with us is between 6 to 8, 9 months. That's depending on the credit. Sometimes I had actually a client that she signed up March, which it was on my birthday that she came in March 16. She signed up March 16, and actually I just did her processing on Monday. She had 2 collections. One of her 2 collections just fell off. We could get them on the first round when we send out the letters, but we're really lucky. But sometimes we have to, one of them is still there. So we have to keep on fighting. But with one, we already deleted one. So that's a victory, a big victory for us, because like I said, it's time. Because we send out the letter, the credit bureaus open an investigation. They have 30 days. We get our response. We have to send back another response. And it's like that. That's why it's a process. It's a process, and it's time. That's why when we have our client in here, we tell them, this is not going to happen from night to day.
Yeah.
It's going to be a process. So, you know, if you guys are still on board and, you know, it's about 6 to 9 months, again, depending on the credit that they have, this is what we could do. So it really, really depends on the credit, what they have on there. Late payments is a little bit more harder to remove because we have to convince that you're not going to be late anymore and that you're already on a good, you know, you've been giving your payments already for 4 or 5 months.
So you guys talk, like for a late payment, you guys will call a bank or talk to someone?
No, everything is done by letter.
Oh,
we do
okay,
paper trail on everything.
Okay.
We do paper trail.
I think that's the big takeaway from all this.
Yeah. Yes.
Everything by letter.
Yes, it is. Honestly, yes, it is because sometimes, like I said, you know, that my client, it's been a month and one of them fell. The collection fell.
Gracie, I know you got questions.
Oh, no.
She's like, I didn't know you could do it.
Put me on the spot. I'm all learning all this information.
One of the things, what do you guys think about this? One of the things, even an inquiry is bad. Like, you shouldn't just go crazy. Like, every store you go to, oh, you want to open a credit card? No, I always say no.
Same.
Yeah, because
they're like, my manager's begging me to ask you.
well, they
I'm
say like,
no.
oh, you'll save like 30%, but what they're gonna
Correct.
do is run your social. That's an inquiry. That's at least 20 points off your score. Just that, right? That's like a soft inquiry or a hard. I don't know the difference, but they're both bad.
Yeah. They're hard inquiries because they stick to
Oh,
your
that's
credit.
a hard inquiry.
Yes.
So like at Target and all that, that's
Yes,
a hard
yeah.
inquiry.
Because
See?
Don't go opening your credit target.
yeah, so it's, you know, don't, if you already know that you have bad credit and you're not going to be approved, don't add another inquiry.
Or even if you have good credit. Though.
Yeah.
Yeah.
But it really depends on the person that if you know that, you know, you really want the card and it's going to be beneficial to you and
Yeah.
you're going to be responsible of using it, then
Yeah.
go ahead because it's
But don't just
working
do
for
it
you.
to save 30%.
Yeah, don't do it because
Yeah.
then you forget to give the payment because, you know, they say you have to pay it within 30 days. You're like, I forgot to give the payment.
You're like,
And now-
I go to Target so often that I didn't even remember.
I always
I
tell
know
my
it's so
nieces.
tempting, isn't it?
I always tell my nephews, why do you think they're pushing so hard if it's good for you? Like, obviously, they're getting something out
They
of
get
it.
commission. Yeah, correct. They get commission.
Yeah. And for you, they don't care. Now you got a credit card. If you pay it or not, that 30% you saved, you know, I mean, you're going to have to come to someone like Casaluna and pay for
Yeah,
your
which is
repair.
good because we get more clients, but we get to help them, you know. But at the same time, it's not because
Yeah.
if you're not gonna be responsible, I mean, it's just and
Yeah.
you have, you know, bigger dreams of either buying a car or purchasing a home. I'm sorry, it's
Yeah.
you know, don't
Yeah.
do it, even if they tell you.
When we get a client too, we tell them what is a good credit card to apply for, or just things like that, because we do help them remove the negatives, but we also help them establish good credit. So it's not just removing the negatives; it has a process, like she said, it in building up that good credit as well. So we give them, you know, the opportunity to say, hey, this credit card might be beneficial, maybe this one's not, just depending.
So how would you guys say you build your pricing? Like, what factors into all that? And what's an average so that people watching know, like, okay, that's good pricing for something like this?
Everything average out on what their credit is normally, and this is just, you know, throwing it out there. It could start between $250 and $250 or $300. Then again, a lot of, you know, plays within what's on their credit report. We could do also, if they want to do a payment plan, after they give the first payment, then we put them on a payment plan because we say it's going to be 6-7 months, you know, whatever you're here. But then again, sometimes some of them say, hey, we offer them a flat fee. It's like, you know what, if we could do this. But then again, it really depends on what you have on there, which is going to determine us offering if it's a flat fee better for you, or is it just, you know, just do the initial and then after that, a monthly payment.
Yeah. And I feel like we're pretty fair with pricing because we're trying to help them get good credit, you know, or establish good credit. So we know that they're probably behind, they have collections and they're paying towards that. We don't want to be like another thing that is on there. So we try to be fair with the pricing. And I think that when we are kind of like understanding on everybody's situation, and we try to take that into consideration as well.
Yeah.
That's good.
One of the best things I done, like when I was in the hole, like I was talking about, I would have like 8 payments. I would consolidate them all into one and then just have one payment. It would be a lot easier to make the payments. And I'm sure that's something you guys do too, like recommend consolidating the cards.
With individually, yes, we don't go out and recommend a company to go ahead and do that for you. Because honestly, the feedback that we have gone from clients that are with us, it's that it doesn't work. It doesn't work for them. And it's been, few of my clients that had left that because at the end it wasn't helping. They didn't see anything, positive.
And that's not free either.
No.
Like I paid $400, $500, depending on how much you do it.
Correct. So that's something that we don't recommend at all. Or if they're going to join our program, we tell the clients, like, we recommend for you to actually stop services because it's not helping. You're, it's money that you're putting towards over there that's not really helping you. And it's money, we say it's like, you're throwing it away because it's not helping you. It's taking
So the
away.
stuff you guys do is like very hands-on.
Yes.
Like
Yes.
let's start writing letters on behalf of all your creditors and things like that. Things that most people maybe can't do or don't want to do, or it's not that they can't because they can Google and do it, but you guys kind of take care of it all in one place.
Yes. And we're always here at the office because then again, clients want to see us, back to if it's legal or not. They want to see, they want to meet us, that we're actually here, where we're located. They want to see the person that they've been talking over the phone. Who are they giving their personal information to? Because they do give us a lot of personal information. So, so we understood that portion's like not just over the phone, and they feel more comfortable than just talking to someone, far away that they don't even know where they're at, never seen their face. And that's, another thing. So we're always here at the office and we try to help as much as we can.
Yeah.
So
And we're really flexible. Like, we're not open Sundays, but if anybody would want us to come in and do a meeting or something, we're available. We'll make ourselves available for any of our potential clients or potential partners. So,
and what made you guys choose Yuma? Like, what made you guys open something here in Yuma? Or was it just
a lot of, our manager, operations manager, which is Kim, she has her office down in Anaheim. So there's a lot of clients that had called, from here, especially more of the Hispanic community. And it's a lot of the clients are here since she started, she gets a lot of from here, a lot of the referrals and all that good stuff. So, but that's when they were iffy when they were on the phone. It's like, why you're on the phone? And it's like, I need to send you all this information. I need to be sending you payments every month. And I don't even know, you're far from me. So since a lot of our clients, we want to say at least 80% of our clients are here. Yeah. So, that's when we decided. We were doing everything first just over the phone, and I was working from home, and everything was getting handled like that. But a lot of clients were like, you know what, do you have an office? We're like, no. And that's what we saw was becoming an issue that, why do I need to send you, my stuff when I don't even know? It's like, if I have a question, where can I go see you? Yeah. Or where can I look for you? Yeah. So, if I call you, you could just turn off your phone and I'm not going to know who you are. So that's what we saw. So that's when she decided to go ahead and opened the office here in Yuma.
Okay.
Makes sense. Smart, Kim.
And do you guys have any events planned to start promoting your guys' business?
I think we're in the works with that. Hopefully we have one coming up really soon in May, but it's in the works.
Yeah.
Last question. Do you guys have kids?
I do.
Knowing what you know now about credit, I think we need to teach this stuff early.
Yes.
I think it's ridiculous. People are getting in debt for medical assistant school, phlebotomy school, tens of thousands of dollars. If you get bachelor's, it's hundreds of thousands. Yeah. They don't have a single class on credit.
Yeah.
What are you going to teach your kids? I don't know how old they are, but
I have a 17-year-old.
What are you telling your 17-year-old about
responsible credit? She has to be responsible. You know what? We started that. My husband and I started on that. She works. Either she, works with my mom, she gets paid, my brother, whatever. It's like babysitting, whatever. So we have started from there telling her, you know what, you need to save whatever you get paid, you need to put it in a savings. After that, if you want to do only the 10%, go ahead and put the 10% on savings, and the rest you can go ahead and spend it after you paid your responsibility. So now that I'm more into the credit, she's asked me, it's like, Mom, when can I get a credit card? I was like, not yet.
Not yet. But at like universities,
yes, correct.
They have banks.
Yes.
Citibank, all of them are
Yes.
there. Hey, you want a free T-shirt? Sign up for a
Sign up
card.
for a credit card.
These kids don't know. They were throwing that at me at 18. I didn't do it.
Well, now she has her mama that she's gonna be telling her.
Yeah.
No, but that's what I tell her now. It's like, not just because they are, they offer it to you and you're like, oh my God, that's like my credit line. It's like,
Yeah.
$5,000. What can I buy now? No,
Yeah, they'll
it's
buy
being
everything.
responsible, because later on, if you want to get married, you buy a mortgage, or you want to get a car by yourself and say, Mom, you know what, I'm already working and you could get a good interest rate. You can't just go crazy with that credit card here and there, now and here, and buying everything for everybody, because kids are like, oh, I get it for you. Or we're going to go out with my friends. I got it because I have the credit card. So we've been teaching her, you have to be responsible. And if you don't want to pay too much money for a car, like the other day I had shared it on my Instagram. It's like, it put versus, it's like, of when you're getting a vehicle, when you have a certain amount of, the points, if you're like around the 550 versus somebody that has a 720, it shows them side to side saying the interest rate that the person with the 720 is going to be paying and the interest that the other person is going to be paying.
It's crazy.
So I've showed it to her. Yeah, I've shown it to her and tell her, you know what, you want to pay this much for a car when this other person with good credit is paying less. And she was like, well, yeah. So it's the same way. So when you go on your own, or you start applying for credit cards or for loans, it's like, don't go just because they give you that credit amount, you're going to go and waste it like there's no tomorrow.
Yeah.
Because you have to be responsible and you have to pay it back.
When is your daughter going to get a card? And then what are the rules you're going to tell her to follow?
Hopefully when she's 18, she graduates next year. She's
18,
planning to
they
leave.
get it. They start getting
Yeah,
them.
she's planning to leave. So, get her a credit card because she's planning to leave. So when she does take off, get the credit card, but use it responsibly. Not just because you have it in your wallet means that you could spend it.
What does that mean? Like pay it off every month?
Yes.
Or leave a balance?
Only use the credit that you could afford to pay next month.
Yeah, because remember,
30%.
It's not your money.
Exactly.
It's not yours.
It's not,
Exactly.
it's not
And I told her,
anymore.
not just because your mom fixes credit, it means that you could default and then I'm going to go back, because there's phases to it. And that's something that we didn't touch, like there's phases when you default on a credit card, the next phase, there's like 2 phases to it. So not just because, they send you right to collections. No, there's a phase to it that you could come back and get sued. So it's not something, you be responsible for it. And I've told her, I've showed her, it's like, not just because you default means that it's going to go right into collections and here comes mom and helps you. No, it's a phase. It's phase 1 and phase 2, and then there comes phase 3. So it's being responsible, and because honey, I'm not going to help you. Like, I didn't spend that money. I'm not going to help you. But, giving her telling her, do this and do that. And it's, manage it well. So you could have good opportunities buying, getting a good interest rate, anything. Because good credit does matter, even though, like we say, it doesn't matter. Yes, it does a lot.
Oh, it matters. This could be a 3-hour podcast.
Yeah,
We
there's
didn't
a
even get
lot.
into,
There's
like-
a lot of
Yeah.
things that go
Adulting is
into.
hard.
Yes.
Adulting is hard. We didn't even get into
Yes.
co-signing. I know people that got burnt. Let me sign for you because you're my
Exactly.
sister.
Yeah.
So you
there's-
won't have to get, show your face and say, can you co-sign? Because the person's going to be like, why do you need a co-signer? Oh, because
No,
I
I don't
have
have
a
a problem
default.
saying
It's like,
no.
no, thank you. If you
I don't have
already
a
defaulted
problem.
and you're asking for a co-signer, forget it. I'm not going to co-sign.
And
I
a
don't
lot of
have a
people
problem
don't take that
saying
as a big responsibility. If your name is on there, if your social is on there,
Oh, yeah.
it's on your
Yeah.
report.
Yeah.
It is on your
Mama won't co-sign
report.
for nobody.
Yeah. And that's what happens sometimes. And you lose friendships because they're like, oh, she didn't
Do
want
you
to
get
co-sign.
a lot
It's
of
like,
clients that are victim of like co-signing?
So far, I've only gotten one myself.
Okay.
And
So
I'm
usually
working
it's like they made the mess, not someone
I've
else.
had one with an authorized user, as an authorized user. When you're an authorized user on a credit card, that also affects you.
It's the
Yeah.
same.
Yeah, because it's the same card on both of your names, so it affects both of your credits. So if you're an authorized user with your friend and their credit card is racked up, it's gonna affect your credit
But that
score.
could also be a positive, right?
Yeah,
So
of
if
course.
they do
Yeah.
have good spending habits,
Yeah.
it could also up your credit.
Yes, exactly.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Gracia's credit savvy.
I only know that because my mom does it for my sister.
No, but a lot of it's
Yeah.
parenting, how you're brought up.
Yeah.
Yeah.
That's why I asked you about the kids thing, because
Yes.
I think that should start in the family.
Yes.
Yes.
No, definitely now
Credit
that
definitely
I've
needs to be
learned.
taught
Yeah.
early.
Yeah.
Yeah. Now that I'm more into this and you know, we went through the same thing because when I got my first credit card, it was for 5,000 with Citibank.
Oh,
and I
wow.
was 18. I went crazy.
Oh, girl.
But I was working at the same time, you know. But when you start making back those payments and you go all out, you're like, I'm never gonna finish paying this.
Yeah.
I'm never gonna finish paying it.
Yeah,
I was there.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I was there, but
Like I said, it goes to the interest. It doesn't even go to
Yes.
the payment that you need to pay or
And then, yeah.
whatever you bought.
And then
you
you're
know?
like, when you're like, I'm already tired of paying it. You're like, well, when am I gonna get $5,000 to go? And if you do end up getting the $5,000, you're like, you know what? I'm gonna use it for something else.
Yeah.
Like,
Yeah.
why? I'm just gonna keep on paying the credit
Yep.
card.
So
Yeah.
you get used to it.
like
Yeah.
when you get your taxes and stuff like that, instead of
Yeah.
of doing something positive for your credit,
You're like, I got money. Let's
yeah.
go.
You could tell when it's tax season around here.
Yeah, oh yes,
Yes.
we were super busy. Honestly,
Really?
we were super busy because a lot of clients started that they wanted to fix their credit.
Yeah.
Huh.
I think we're just calming down, actually doing the consultations and having clients calling us that they wanted to start fixing their credit.
Yeah.
We were actually busy. It was a busy season for us.
It was.
Well, if anyone wants to get a hold of Casa Luna, we'll have the contact info below and the Instagram. And thank you guys very much. We appreciate
Thank
it.
you
No,
guys.
thank you guys.
Thank
Yeah.
you so much.
You guys have any socials you guys want to shout out real quick? I know they're
I
gonna
have
be
my-
under there, but you can
Yes,
shout them
my
out now.
Instagram has Jacqueline Salas with the Casa Luna. There's a Casa Luna logo on it.
Well, we gotta tag you both on there.
Yes.
then.
Yeah.
Yes.
Mine's too difficult to say.
But she'll be tagged.
But I'll be there.
All right. Well, thank you very much. If you're interested in them and their credit repair, they're right here. They're actually our neighbors, and we're Yuma Clinical Trust. If you're interested, you make money being in studies, so
Nice.
You could put it towards
Couple-
your credit.
we pay $100 a visit.
So like first
Some
off, and then
studies.
the ours.
We pay
Yeah.
$100
so
a
we
visit.
might as well just
sometimes.
pay Casa Luna. They can fix your credit.
We can pay them on your
True.
behalf. All right. Like, subscribe, comment, share. Thank you very much, ladies.
Thank you. Thank you
Thank you
guys.
so
Bye-bye.
much.
Bye.
Bye.